Hi everyone, I'm Dave Giancola, joined again by Mike Trossel for another US Open Classic finish. The US Open returned to the Olympic Club in San Francisco for the 5th time in 2012. Tiger Woods shared the lead through 36 holes, but Mike, he fell back with a third round 75.
And Dave, the final day appeared to be shaping up for a duel between two past US Open champions, 2003 winner Jim Furyk and 2010 champ Graeme McDowell. But both players lost shots to par early in the front nine, allowing Webb Simpson and John Peterson to post a score early and sit back and watch.
Let's join McDowell and Furyk on the 11th hole.
This would be a really fine birdie if you can get it. Just like you said, Roger, just keep it up to the right so they can get away from you.
And keep cranking out pars. Another one for Furyk at 11. Webb Simpson at 14 with his second. 107.
With a huge tee shot all the way over the hill, and then scooped it.
That's good to get up. He does. Not bad at all. Not bad. Wanted exactly, but Simpson just one back. Harrington two back. Now look at the hole location at 18. It get very dangerous if you happen to come up short. It can go a long way down the hill.
Yeah, if you come up short left with spin, it could come back 40 yards. And we haven't seen it happen yet, but it's not a hard hole occasion. There are some real negative things can happen if you don't pull it off. You can bury it in the lip of the front bunker, spin it back on the right, spin it back on the left. Or you can knock it in for a two.
Happy? Yeah, go to rehearsal.
Harrington's closest call in a U.S. Open came at Wingfoot when everybody had their crashes down the stretch. He finished bogey, bogey, bogey. He wound up fifth, a couple back before his at 18. We go to Ernie Els at 13.
Birdie putt on the way. Slow.
And Harrington on the way.
He's looking like it's going left. And buried. That is so dead. That is incredibly dead. That is the end of his chances unless he happened to hit that flag somehow and stop it. What a shot.
Back to 11. And a good look for Graeme McDowell. Again, has not made a birdie all day until there. McDowell to +2.
7 under on the back nine now. That is really good. Maybe he'll come alive.
Up to 16.
John Peterson now with his fourth. He found the rough off the tee and couldn't get it out in 2. Played to here in 3, and that is well right. So he'll have that left for his par. Peterson just 2 over and 2 back also. Back to 14.
And Webb Simpson. He and his wife Dowd left their little son James at home with his grandparents, and Dowd is more than 7 months pregnant. They've got another baby due in early August.
But she has pretty much watched every shot that I have seen out here right now, Dan.
Yep.
This breaks left the whole way, doesn't it, Mark?
Yeah, it does, Johnny. It's probably in the, I'd say 30 to maybe just inside 30-foot range.
I mean, it's not a huge break, but it's definitely a makeable putt.
Yeah, this part of the green is actually pretty flat.
Simpson was the hottest player down the stretch of last season after he missed the cut at the PGA. Had 2 wins, 4 top 5s, 6 top 10s. A little slower start than we might have expected out of Webb Simpson in 2012, though, to 16.
John Peterson now with that putter cover stuffed in his back pocket for par. What a huge putt this would be.
Oh, is that quick?
Yeah, it's picking up a little speed, John. Let's go to 18.
Harrington kind of soaking up the applause as he comes up to 18, but when he gets a look at his lie in the bunker, that is a bummer. Probably didn't think it was buried like it is.
Boy, he's got expressive eyes too, doesn't he, Dan? McDowell off the
Tee shot here. Perfect.
That'll make it run a mile with that sharp kick to the right, but also run into the rough. Not bad.
He'll have a tough angle on that second shot, though.
Maybe it's a blessing. You just keep it to the left, Peter. Don't get tempted.
Roger, yeah, good look here. The little window you've got to drive it through. You've got to go underneath the canopy of those huge cypress trees, and it's about 15 yards wide.
Well, you have the wind coming this way. That's one of the biggest problems. And you just have to hit it straight. You can't afford to draw because you can hit the tree there and you can't cut it and hit that tree. So this is one drive that you want to hit with maybe a tiny little draw, but pretty straight is the shot. Down the left side and let the wind move it a little to the right. So easy to lose it right on this hole for the faders. But the one thing about Furyk, he can hit it, he can cut it, and he can hook it at will. See if pressure starts to get into him at all. He's a pretty steely guy.
Woo! Yeah. It's headed up the left.
Well, that was not a good shot. But green opens up from over there if he doesn't have a tree. But it's.
Take a look at the Pro Tracer on this. As you said, John, you just need to hit a straight bullet. Looked like he was trying to turn that back into the slope of the fairway, and
he's trying to let the people know his ball is going to hit him in the head if they don't watch out. You see, watch him turn down the club.
Just late. Made a good turn there, but his arms went too far down the target line, and he flipped it over a bit to 18.
Paying the price for the mistake.
Yeah, he got very unlucky there. That now he's got a big clump of grass behind the ball, and he really needed to make birdie on this hole, I think.
Did I have a chance?
Yeah, I think so. And
16.
This needs to go in for Peterson.
He seems so casual, you know, like, you know.
That's the youth.
I guess, but it's like
first U.S. Open. He's just getting started in his tour career, and he's got a lot of talent. He's got great things ahead of him.
He's going to get a lot of sponsors exemption, but you can see the reaction, how much he wanted that. And he missed a little putt in the last hole, remember, for birdie. So that's 3 shots.
We have to talk about it a little bit now. Because now we're actually getting hit.
60.
Trying to flat 160.
I think
Cool's 165.
Yeah. 65 is playing. 68. What's 6 on? 56 Cool.
So basic's 43, so say 52.
52?
There's a minute we have to fly at least 52.
52 is playing 62?
Yeah.
60 is the goal. Cool 64. He's playing a good 68.
60's almost perfect.
Over's just dead. I like hitting a full hard flight. I don't think in a million years I've had a good full hard flight. I think 500 grand.
I think you can take it a little hard. Just a good full
Okay. Line-wise right at it?
Yes.
Johnny, the caddy,
most
influential caddies.
Any
You'll see
direction
in any
on it, right?
relationship.
Yeah.
Tesori has meant so much to Simpson, and you can see how much he relies on him.
I like that he knows that over is dead, because I was there and down in that bunker and behind the green. It is totally dead. So in front of the hole, it's a birdie hole.
Run!
That's way. Started just right at the flag. It's coming back toward it now.
And Simpson is lined up for another birdie, which will be his fifth of the day in the first 15 holes. It could be the one that catches Furyk at even par.
He's the only player in the final 9 twosomes who is under par today. So that's good stuff. This needs to go in.
Yep, this has to go in to get in at +2. That's where Michael Thompson is right now. Harrington in a quest to become the 14th player to win 3 of the 4 majors.
That's a good shot. That's a fantastic shot.
That's a bogey for Harrington. 2 under round, 68 is going to fall short.
too, so.
Yeah, that's what we just said. Yes, we fall short. He's out of it.
Good performance. So
Great effort by Harrington, absolutely.
That could have been a 66 as quick as a 68 with a good second shot.
He was 8 shots back after the 6th hole before Harrington came charging with those 3 straight birdies to end his front 9. And what about a report on Furyk, Roger?
Well, he got a terrific break on the left side of 12 here. Has 184 left of the hole, but his ball's found kind of a bald spot in the rough, and he's going to be able to get the club on it. He has no tree issues, Johnny, and he'll be able to chase this ball onto the green if he wants. I mean, he could hit an 8-iron or something and just land it well short and let it trundle up.
That's the kind of things that got to happen sometimes to just eke out a win, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, that could have been against the tree, could have been in a terrible lie, and see if he takes advantage of it. One thing you don't want to do is go in that right bunker. I know that.
The way he takes the yardage book guy, just looks at it real quick, puts it right back in. As if to reassure himself of what he's trying to pull off.
Contact is good. It's on a good line. It's got to bounce hard, though.
I didn't want to go right.
No, it's going right.
Yeah, that's making it really well down there. Very on the downslope of the bunker with no green to work with. That's probably a bogey right there.
For even a great bunker player like Furyk.
Yeah, there's just no green to work with. Look at that lag.
He knew it immediately.
And you can see how long his arms are in extension. And I thought he was going to whack somebody there.
You don't see a lot of emotion out of Furyk. That angered him. And over to Ernie Els at 14. Dottie?
He laid up off the tee with his 18-degree sort of hybrid driving iron combo club. 133 left.
This is doable.
Oh, totally. A little bit of a downhill lie, so this should come off a little shallower.
A low draw would be good with a wedge. And that's a good shot.
Bernie will add that to get to +1. 1 off the lead, but Furyk's having his problems at 12. We go there with McDowell.
The second.
Just 120
Oh,
left
get down
from the
quick.
right rough.
Down!
This is left of the hole, and he wants it down. I don't know why he wanted it down so badly, but okay.
That's a good lead right there, Roger. He's got a chance for birdie. So Jim Furyk in a whole lot of trouble in the greenside bunker on the right on 12. Well, we're back in the fairway greenside bunker with Jim Furyk, and he's not even looking at the pin. He's going out way left with his 3rd.
Just couldn't hit it to the right, could you, Peter? That's that second shot. And he knew it. That's why he, almost looked like he was going to slam his club.
Okay, the birdie putt for Webb Simpson at 15 to tie Furyk for the lead, and he's having problems, so he not the kind of stroke he wanted to put on it. A little left for him, coming back for par. And Tiger Woods coming up, the 18th. So many people thought this would be a much different scenario for Tiger on this Sunday after what he accomplished in the first 2 days. Again, tied for the lead, but then game just left him. And over at 14, Ernie Els for birdie. Dottie?
And it's a putt that is slower than it looks like. You've got 2 countering factors here, the slope and then the pull to the lake.
Boy, that was the kind of putt he could have knocked in, just a right edge putt.
4 holes left for Els, 2-time US Open champion, just 2 back, but he could be closer after Furyk gets done at 12. We go to 15 for the comebacker for Simpson to remain at +1. It was just earlier. So Simpson holding steady is a good opportunity, but we go to 12.
Roger, this has got to go in, or we have a tie ball game.
Yeah, this is a little over 30 feet. I think it should move a little to his right on the way down there.
And it's pretty slow.
He's got enough speed.
12. Maintains his one-shot lead. John, when you look back on these major championships, if you happen to win, you think, well, it all boiled down to putts like this.
Well, it's a player that's made the last 7 Ryder Cups and the last 7 President's Cups with an unbelievable win-loss record. He isn't doing that because he can't make pressure putts.
Well, he and his caddy Mike Cowan, you talk about experience. These guys have a lot of years under their belt.
That's impressive. That is one impressive up and in, and this could go down too. He knows the line now. And he loves the back 9, 7 under. Coming off a birdie.
Furyk must have given him the right line.
He did.
Graeme McDowell in.
Well, we're going to have ourselves a battle down the stretch. I can feel it right now.
So Graeme McDowell pulls within 1 of our leader. Take another look at this.
This is straight in putt.
Yes, dead straight. Perfect speed. We've seen a lot of players leave it short, but he obviously got a good read. Not only of the line, but the speed from Furyk.
How about that hole? That was exciting.
You can just hear him later. He made a putt there on 12 and pulled within 1. And over on 16 now, Webb Simpson looks like he's going off the tee with less than maybe a 3-wood.
Just got to be careful
much?
with
Yeah.
the fairway.
Way too much?
He's
Yeah.
trying to draw with a 3 metal,
Not way too much. 10 yards too much.
and that's not where you want to hit it. That's a big miss. That's untouched rough right there.
So Ernie Els with a 9-iron off the tee at 15. We essentially have 5 players in the championship hunt here. 5 within 2, including Ernie.
Might be a little left. You have to know, folks, you watch these players right now and they don't look nervous. I'm telling you, they are so amped up, you can't believe it. You know, to win a U.S. Open changes your life.
About winning 3 if Ernie can get it done.
Well, Ernie's got like a 2nd career right now. For him to win, it's like doing it for the first time.
2 guys up there with a chance to win it for the 2nd time. As you look at the hole location at 13.
It has been a stingy one. Just 2 birdies recorded here all day.
This is a hard shot, Gary. You know, you look at the shot. You got trees right. You got a big fall off the left. Skinny little green crosswind.
How about that graphic, Johnny? You were touching on how well he's played the back 9. That's a 17-shot difference. Front and back.
But this is pressure right here. You can't undercut it to
Like
the
the
right.
little iron face there. Was it like hoisting the other one? I mean, it's definitely so firm. So firm, I agree with you. You've only got pictures on. Can't see the name. It's probably fancy. Oh, with that. I'm trying to pictures 95 to 95.200 to you. This is the shape. You know, just the shape of one of these. I mean, I'm trying to hit a good 5, which to me is moving the other way too much. Short, so that's too late. There's no other way. Yeah. Hey? I'm just going to hit 200 one of these, and it's more the shape for me. Yeah.
Had 5 has dropped down to 6. Excuse me, he's gone to a 4.
Yeah, I think he wants to really play that left to right shot with more club.
Tells me he's going to try to cut this, that's for sure.
Overdo it.
Flaming right at the tree.
You could tell no divot whatsoever there. It came up out of it.
At 18.
And this was just earlier. Tiger finishing up with a birdie chance.
Did you hit it, Tiger?
He would end up making that putt. Final round 73 it's going to be for Tiger. Hard to sum up what happened over the weekend here with Tiger, but he just faded big time.
Yeah, and the more majors that go by, the tougher it's going to be to beat Jack's record at 18 professional majors.
And at 17, John Peterson has come back with 2 brilliant shots here. Makeable putt for an eagle 3.
That's 3 in a row that he could have made.
Back at 15.
Ernie Els for birdie.
So start moving right now. Looks good.
Ernie Els just sees it veer right at the end. He's going to stay at +2, 2 back, 13.
Furyk's tee shot on the way.
It's a 5-iron, and this is working left to right, and this is a little too far right as well.
It gets hung up in the very thick rough. So both McDowell and Jim Furyk have missed the green at the par 3 13th. Furyk with the miracle par at the 12th. Remains a 1-shot lead over McDowell and Webb Simpson. And from the last hole, Furyk first. How about that par? But then Graeme McDowell says, not so fast, Jim Furyk. Don't count me out. Back at 13, Jim Furyk. Awkward second shot here at the par 3. Roger, chance to look at the lie?
Yeah, the lie is not terrible. But the green looks away from him and pretty good from right to left. This is the stop.
Got a goer, didn't he, Gary?
Came out of the rough very quickly. That's the problem with the rough. It's a guess.
No, he's got a slice putt, but he is number 1 in scrambling. 14 out of 21 times he's got it up and in. Number 1 in the field.
But you don't want to keep having to do that over these last few holes.
Now you can see.
As we go to 16.
Where Ernie Els is on the tee, you can see how this dog leg left turns around the trees, and Ernie with a 3-wood. You got to put this in the fairway, or that ball buries like that. Back to 13.
Dowell with his bunker shot.
Same problem. Green works away from him. That came out fast. That needs to spin.
Boy, these are 2 bogeys. That brings a whole different equation in the field. You guys,
that +2 looks a little better, although you do have
Simpson,
birdieable holes, eagleable holes ahead. Well, we showed you Tiger finishing up, and just after his round, Jimmy Roberts had a chance to talk to Tiger.
All right, Tiger, the week started in such promising fashion for you, 69 and 70, but the weekend things seemed to change. What happened? What do you think?
Well, yesterday I was just a touch off, and that's fine. I was still in the ball game, but today I just got off to just a horrific start, and just never got it going early, and unfortunately put myself out of it.
Your numbers with fairways were good. Your numbers with greens and regulation were good. It seems that when they changed the setup on the greens, though, that might have thrown you a little bit. True?
Not really. No. It was just I was just a fraction off. As I said yesterday, it was amazing how many times I got just a half club. I was right between clubs all day, and and also yesterday I struggled with the speed, and today was different. Today I felt great on the greens. Unfortunately, I just got off to a bad start.
Understand that you'd be disappointed, but what's your state of mind after something like this happens?
Well, there's a lot of positives to be taken away from this week. A lot of positives, and just got to apply them.
All right, Tiger, thanks very much. Best of luck.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Real quick, we're in a crosswalk, but this is not relief. This is where everybody's coming across. See all the beat down. It's only relief in the fairway. Okay. Oh, okay. They draw the line right in. Okay, thank you. You're welcome. 75, somewhere around the 80 shot. That's perfect, bud. Just sitting there and get your feel and go when you're ready.
With his third, and you can see that whole location on the front left. Boy's got a great look at this.
He does, Peter. 81 yards. Got a tremendous break after his tee shot came to rest on an electrical box.
Yep.
Got relief from it and was able to drop it into some thinner rough than he would have been.
No. Okay, absolutely not.
This ball is sitting just a little down, though, in the intermediate cut here. So have to be a little careful. You don't want to miss this left.
There's a big, closely mown area left with that flag, and so you got to probably Peter hit it 6 to 8 feet right of the hole.
Yeah, this has got to be short and right.
That's a good shot.
That's a little careful. That's a little too safe, I think. 13.
Graeme McDowell for a par. So this one a little bit back up the hill. Definitely moving right. It's far near it. Just earlier. Now live with Furyk.
And on this breaker to the right as well. Back uphill slightly.
Wanders on by.
That was not a good stroke.
So all of a sudden, there's a lot going on here. Jason Dufner at 17, lengthy putt for an eagle 3. This can move him to +2.
Be good.
Good speed. Should be an easy birdie. Back at 13, and Roger, this one wandered on by the hole a little ways.
Yeah, once it got turning right, it just kept going. And this one now will have a little movement to the left in it. Not one to be taken lightly, I'll promise you that.
About his improved putting this year. Last year, 150th PGA Tour in the putting stats. So far this year, 24th. Looked at it very hard in the offseason. All right, safely in, but there's a bogey. There's a tie at the top at +1. If I were Michael Thompson, I think I'd be paying close attention in the clubhouse at +2.
I might be warming up on the range. We're going to have to play it till tomorrow, though.
And over at 16, look how thick this rough is. You can't even see Ernie's shoes.
Go!
That looks pretty good from that rough. 16th hole today is 100 yards shorter than in yesterday to 17.
Jason Dufner, short birdie putt. Moves into +3. As he goes to the 18th.
And the 112th U.S. Open Championship is brought to you by John Hancock. Talk to your financial advisor. By the all-new Lexus RX F Sport. And by World Elite MasterCard. Well, the sun never broke through that marine layer like
25.
Might have had a chance to do, but
which makes it 220.
It's the final group.
This is a lane Just nearly gets down the bottom today. Where's the spin?
Just can't hit it left.
17.3 left.
Just cannot go left. You know, Americans have only won 2 out of the last 8 U.S. Opens. In case you might want to know.
Northern Ireland's won the last 2.
Hybrid club here, and it's cutting right. This might need a hop left if it's going to get to the fairway.
Ball's sitting up, though. That's a good break.
All right. The number is +2 right now. Michael Thompson, the leader in, and Peterson is officially out of it. +3. What a week for Peterson, though. Even par, final round today.
Mark, over on 16 green. Now Webb Simpson, this for birdie and the outright lead.
And he has to be a little careful, Peter. It is very fast when it gets to the hole.
Back to 14.
Furyk.
Hybrid club as well here. A flatter trajectory, but still up the right side. He wants it to come over the left.
This final group +5 combined. Furyk +1 for the championship, tied with Webb Simpson. The fog began to roll in late this morning to the Bay Area at this U.S. Open, and Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, never could get going. So the rest of the leaderboard began to take shape as Lee Westwood's hopes of breaking through for a first major diminished. It's been a U.S. Open type of test with all sorts of players in the hunt, getting down to the final few holes. Just a handful have emerged with a chance to win the coveted U.S. Open trophy. Jim Furyk tied with Webb Simpson at +1 in the 112th edition. And there is Simpson on the tee at the 17th.
Yeah, par 5, but hitting the fairway, very difficult to do. In fact, the toughest fairway on the back 9 to hit. Just about 40% of the time. Severe slope from left to right.
This is a draw at the left-hand side. One good bounce would really help.
Will he get it? Yes, here it comes. Here it comes. That is beautifully done.
You know, Gary, it's interesting. Short hitters and Lee Janzen and Scott Simpson win here last 2 times, and all the short hitters that are leading, all the guys that are leading, are all short hitters.
At 16.
L's now just one back with a 9-iron.
Hold your line. Hang on.
Looks like, oh, there it goes. That is a collection area down there about 6 feet below the putting surface, and that's big trouble. To 14.
Yeah, it's just, you know,
How's the line for McDowell, Roger?
55. Same shot at the 9, basically.
177. Yeah. But this one looks to me like it could be a jumper here.
Boy, McDowell's had a hard time finding the fairways lately.
Yeah, it's just pressure. That's all it is. As straight as he normally hits it. That's all it is. That sounded like it came out pretty fast.
Well, it's peeling a little right, though.
Is that just out of the bunker, Roger?
Yes, it's in the grass just out of the bunker, John. In the rough.
Didn't miss out by much. What, 2 feet left and might have bounced left and on?
Oh, yes. It would have crawled up onto the green. It wouldn't have got back to the hole, I don't believe, but it would have crawled up onto the green. Furyk now 173.
That will sit down or just fine?
Yeah, it's just fine. No problems here.
55, and let's go up to 66. I believe he's probably playing right in
The only issue, John, really you'd have to worry about now is this has turned into a bit of a mist, and now there's a little moisture in the grass.
Over to 16.
Dottie, he decided on putter. You can hit a lot of shots from down here.
You can, but there was never a question about hitting anything else. He has to go up over the steepest part of this hill, Peter.
I remember Ernie Els made triple bogey 8 here on the 16th in the first round, and I watched Keegan Bradley do the same thing. Tried to putt it from down there earlier in the round and just didn't hit it hard enough.
Almost could be considered the 3rd shot and the 4th rookie mistakes for a veteran.
Why is it so much easier the second time? Back to 14.
And while Els was playing 16, this was Furyk at the 14.
Go. Short. Big up.
He's urging it on. It does take a big hop. Climbs on the front edge.
It's a good shot. It was going right at it.
And Bo Hostler, the 17-year-old teenager here, finishing up second. Spent so much time in contention, but now has drifted back to +7, +4 in his round.
Yeah, he hit it out of position on the tee shot. Now he's got a downhill lie to this front left hole location, so gonna be a tough up and in.
Well, Jim Furyk No birdies yet today. The last time a U.S. Open champion didn't make a birdie in the final round, 1954 at Baltusrol, was the first U.S. Open televised by ABC, by the way, at Fergal. That distinction. There was not a more U.S. Open type of grinded out player in the game today than Jim Furyk. And he has been grinding. Jason Dufner needs a birdie at 18 to get to that +2 number, which leads.
Kind of shot somebody could pull out, to be honest with you. If you could hit a good one, but this hole's playing tougher than you might think. But it seems like a fairly easy hole occasion, but the guys seem to be psyched out by it.
16.
L's now for bogey. Drops a shot there, but as well as he's played 17, he could make that up in a hurry.
And he's had pretty good success at 17, I would say, Jake, this week.
And he's made an eagle earlier in the day on number 7, so 14.
McDowell in his third, Raj.
Not a good lie here. This is long and thick. Ball sitting down a little bit. It's a tough one to control.
Just got to hit down on it and just hit sort of a chunk and run, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just sort of just hack it out and let it run up there. Really hard to get the right distance. So easy to leave it 10 feet short, or maybe have it come out quicker than you think.
Blast it across, yeah.
Yeah, very difficult, as you said.
Ugly lie. Ugly, ugly lie.
As you said, it was thick. Bad break. Literally, if that second shot was a foot left or 2 feet left, it would have gone on the green. But watch how this grass absolutely stops the club head. I mean, look at that.
So McDowell with a long par putt upcoming after coming off bogey at 13. And the third for Bo Hostler here at 18.
He's got to be careful here. If he gets it by the hole and rolls off the green, he could roll 60 yards down the hill. Better play it to the right a little, Bo.
Tight battle going on for low amateur honors here. Hostler at +7.
He'll pick it up really quickly and down on it.
Spieth is in at +7. So Spieth is going to be the low amateur. Shot a 70 today. And back over to 14 for Furyk, Raj.
A long one here. This has got to be 40 feet uphill. Should swing a little to his left and straighten up in the area of the cup.
Just doesn't do much, does it?
Not overall, it doesn't.
Tied with Webb Simpson, who's at 17.
That's perfect.
Positioned absolutely perfectly off the tee.
It's not a long shot either, Gary. 209 and the wind really not a factor right now.
192 to the front. Play a little low trap draw.
I think it's drawing too much, though.
That's all right.
It is okay. Didn't get up too far.
About 5 yards.
So he'll have some room to work with.
He was trying to chase it in there, wasn't he?
Yeah, he certainly was.
It was a good try, but that's a pretty small opening to be chasing it.
Up at 18.
In the fourth for Hostler. He can hole it out and tie Spieth.
Good shot. He'll be disappointed, I'll tell you that.
Fairway has got nothing to hang his head about this week. It's been a sensational run for him. Over at 14, McDowell for par. This has got some speed. He's in danger of dropping 2.
He's in danger of dropping out of his chances unless he does something miraculous.
Else at 17.
Go to the right-hand side of the tee. So himself a little bit more of an angle. This a new tee that USGA using was put in specifically to make the tee shot a little bit more difficult. Tougher angle. Well, he looks it over. We'll go up to 18.
And Jason Dufner, who needs this to go down to tie the leader in the clubhouse, Thompson, at the +2 number.
Swings a little left. It's quick. You can't leave it short. Can't leave it short.
And Dufner officially out of it.
It's a great performance. He could have won this championship. No problem with better putting. He was number 1 in greens hit. No putts hardly.
McDowell for bogey at 14.
This is a tough little putt to read. This might go a little left on him.
Yes. It's a clutch bogey putt for McDowell after that terrible lie. And again, just a little ways away from bounding up on that green. It's just a game of inches and a game of breaks. And McDowell now with back-to-back bogeys after back-to-back birdies. Furyk to remain at +1. Tied for the lead. So we've got Furyk and Simpson on top. Michael Thompson to the clubhouse, 1 back. McDowell has slipped into a tie for 4th at +3. Hostler, which he hopes is his last stroke of this championship. Missed the cut last year at Congressional.
The only thing he did wrong, I think, is say publicly, I've changed my goals. I think I got a chance to win. He should have just kept that to himself.
Why do you, I mean,
it just seems like a kiss of death when you say that.
Well, he just wanted to make the dream even bigger. Tough finish for him. Bogey at 16, double at 18, as he was trying to become the youngest major champion ever. We have a lot of fans this week. And it's a kind of game that you would think you're going to see a lot of in the future when he turns professional. So Jordan Spieth from Texas, the low amateur. And over at 17.
Yeah, this was just earlier, Dan. Neal's on the tee at the par 5. That is going right. That is what has plagued him throughout this championship. Not been able to drive the ball in the fairway.
And I don't know if it might get to where the people have been walking.
If it gets all the way down the bottom, it might be okay.
Yeah, he might be able to get on from there if he's lucky.
All right, big bunker shot here. 3rd shot for Simpson.
This could be to win the U.S. Open, this shot right here.
138th on the tour in sand saves. Not a particular strength. Only gets it up and down about 44% of the time.
But it's makeable if it stops.
Back to 15.
And Furyk, Roger.
Jim's got an 8-iron out. Oh, all the way in the back part of the green here. The wind's still moving a little right to left. Almost feels like it may be hurting just a shade.
Definitely a birdie shot if you can hit a good one.
This is left of the hole and turning to the left side of the green.
Not bad though.
170 hole effective, Kenny?
Yeah.
And 60. Let's just play on 160. No less, yeah. Just over the 60 shot. Fairly central back there.
It's off the right. It's 6 off the right here, so not far off. It's right on the back.
Okay.
As firm as this green was yesterday, 60 shot release.
60's fine,
yeah.
Let's see how resilient Graeme McDowell is.
It's a 7-iron here. And I like the shot shape left to right going at this hole, John.
Yeah, as long as you don't upshoot it into that wind and come up short. That's the only problem with a fade and a hook wind.
Yabba dabba doo!
Oh, it's holding its line pretty much just right of the hole.
Sort of what happens to fades and hook winds, come up short.
And over to 17 here at Olympic.
And Webb Simpson taking a long look. Mark a putt that moves left to right, but virtually every player I've seen hit it from this position seems to overread it.
Well, you know, it's just outside of 15 feet, I would say 16 feet if this weren't the 71st hole of the U.S. Open. I think, you know, he'd be at least 50-50 to make it.
theme. So Webb Simpson has only managed to birdie the 17th hole once this week.
Yeah, that could come back to bite him there, because Furyk could. Difference in this whole thing could be Furyk birdieing 17 and Simpson not birdieing it.
He is such a good putter too, Johnny, and you think about the putts that he has failed to hold, particularly the one at 50.
So he will go to the 72nd hole, +1, tied with Jim Furyk.
It's tough to make birdies when you're that nervous, huh, Gary?
Yeah, I would think so, John. No question. As we go to 15.
On a day that continues to resemble his home town of Portrush, Northern Ireland, a mist has been falling across Olympic for most of the afternoon. Johnny, I guess you'd call it foggy.
Well, it's just sort of, that's what my wife says. How's the weather? And she says it's foggy.
Okay. McDowell here for a birdie, Raj.
And the players were informed after their tee shots here, they were asked to pick up their pace again. They are behind and out of position, and it's the second time they've been asked, and if they do not pick it up from this point forward, they will get put on the clock, but not at this point in time.
This goes just slightly left, doesn't it, Roger?
Yes, yes, it will move a little bit to the left toward the lake. I call it slightly uphill.
Dowell now needs to do some amazing things from here to the house, so to speak, at +3.
Just came up short. It looked like it had the steam to get there.
Yeah, it actually came back to the right at the hole, which is impossible to see. I was out there this morning.
Hill's second shot, 230 yards up the hill.
Come on.
Turn. Some kind of long iron and took the ball to chase. Can't get it between the opening. It's only 10 yards wide. That's well played.
That's a nice shot.
Yes, it was. Back to 15.
And Furyk for birdie.
I think this putt from the left side of the green more uphill, John, but if anything, I would think it would want to move a little right.
Yeah, it does. And pretty good amount right, and he pushed it also, which makes it break more.
All right, Simpson on the tee, the short par 4, 344 yards down the hill.
Gotta get this in play. Have to hit it in play.
Cut the left-hand side, Johnny. That should be okay.
Kicks left. Now going to go down into the rock, but that changes the.
But it's set up. It's like teed up almost. That's a break.
We'll lose a little control of that uphill approach coming up. Back at 15, Furyk for par. Is to remain tied with Simpson, and again, Furyk has back-to-back par 5s coming up. The long 16th and the very birdieable, even with eagle possibilities at 17.
Well, doesn't make a good stroke from here. Can't do anything wrong. Nice.
Still no birdies for Furyk. Still tied for the lead. 112th U.S. Open continues from Olympic.
Welcome back. Jim Furyk has reached the 16th tee, and so important to put this ball in the fairway.
That's the Arnold Palmer shot from 1966 right there. That is just a flat duck hook.
Wow. I've never seen him hit a ball that obliquely left.
I mean, that was one bad swing right there. Watch this.
Wow. Never seen him do that. Roger.
Graeme now. Never comfortable to see a tee shot like that and then have to play. And this ball cutting a little bit to the right, up the right-hand side. This probably needs to get down on that line.
Not bad.
No, it's okay.
The tee is up 101 yards today, folks, from yesterday.
To 17.
Yeah, just earlier, Peter. This was Bernie Hills with his third shot. Nothing to work with. It's all about controlling the distance. And that sneaks about 7 or 8 feet by, but above the hole. So very quick downhill putt. Up to 18.
So you think an open face full 9? Yep. Yeah. Obviously, distance-wise, we're just trying to fly it at the pin. Just get that 30-footer back at it. So, all right, buddy, stay committed like you have all day.
Do I need to do the chop feel or not really?
Yeah, a little bit, bud, but not much.
That's pretty good advice, Johnny, because I don't see how he can get this ball close unless it lands just over the bunker.
It is a good lie for the rough, though,
I
isn't
would
it?
say, yeah, it's certainly not the worst one I've seen, but there is quite a bit of grass right in front of the ball.
Let's see that flag, folks. It's right there.
Tied for the lead.
Right on the front left, that flag. How's it look, Mark?
It's going a little right, though.
That was just the way in the hole.
Nestled down.
And he's like, where is that? I thought it was on. This little hole, number 18, with that whole location is not easy, especially from the rough.
Back to 17.
Big putt for Ernie Els. Tough one to read here. Johnny actually wants to wiggle a little to the right.
Just doesn't do anything, just a little.
Yeah. Back at 16.
Roger, what's going on out there?
Well, he's drawn a decent line. It could have really been worse, if you can believe that. But problem is he's blocked on the left-hand side by trees from advancing the ball very far up the fairway. He does have a slight opening if he tries to play up over a cypress tree in front of him, which very little room. It would gain some yards, but it's still going to take 2 more swings after he plays this shot to get to the green.
Roger, we're looking at a replay of Jim's tee shot, and it just dove into the trees and dropped straight down.
Simmer down over there. Simmer down.
Can he get it far enough to where he can get an iron in his hands?
Ladies and gentlemen, after he hit
On the third shot, you mean?
On the first green, no. I don't think he can advance the ball far enough any way, shape, or form to be able to have a chance at hitting this green with this third.
Roger, did you ever think you'd see a drive like a 3-wood by Furyk like that shot?
No. It's I've never seen him hit a shot like that, certainly.
Remember, he tried to draw it on 12 and hit it in the left trees, right, Peter, on your hole? And this was a duck hook, though.
Yeah, this was
a disaster swing.
Yeah,
disaster swing.
And he's now looking at your little hole in the tree.
And this is a time, Johnny, in a major championship where you feel like you've got a great shot, you're tied for the lead, and you hit a shot like that, and you say, oh no, I got a lot of work ahead of me to get to that clubhouse.
Well, I learned one thing in all the years on tour is when you get in trouble, get out of trouble.
Minimize your mistake.
No, you don't want to go from trouble to more trouble. Roger,
If he plays up across this tree, I still don't think he could advance it far enough to have any chance to reach it with his third.
Well,
so
he's looking right there right now.
Yeah.
He's thinking, I have to be able to reach the green in 3, and I just. Now he's going back to the safe shot.
Smart.
Good and still not quite to the drive of Graeme McDowell.
Yeah, a little downslope. Not a good little break there.
Up to 18.
But what does Webb Simpson's lie look like, Mark?
I don't think so.
We've never seen anything like this. They're looking for relief, actually.
I mean, could it be an old drain or anything like that?
I think it's just
Looks like
a dead
a little
area.
sprinkler hood.
I think it's just where it didn't get water. Right?
Okay. If it was an old sprinkler head area, could I get relief?
Really, unless somebody deemed it ground under, but that's not unusual.
Is there any way you can test to make sure there's not one under there? It almost looks like, well, you know how they put a little round sod on it? Can you test it?
You can.
Okay.
You're permitted
Like,
to test.
you kind of help him just to...
Should I just touch it?
You can just probe it and see if there's anything down.
Okay. All right.
Thanks.
Yeah, you go.
Webb and Tesori wondering if it was an old sprinkler head.
It's
very unusual
totally round in
terrain
shape.
right there.
Yeah, it's totally round in shape, Dan. So something was going on there. It's a depression. Now the issue is there's a huge clump of grass behind his ball.
It's never easy, is it, Mark? It seems like to win your major, your first major, you got all kinds of little hurdles that are thrown at you.
And even though Simpson won twice last year, and really at one point was a candidate for Player of the Year with that incredible stretch he had down the final 2011 season. This is just the 5th major he's ever played in.
Like a bunker shot almost, Johnny.
You know, well, that's the most important shot of his golfing life right here.
Yeah, just a little.
If he can get this up and in, it's going to put a lot of pressure on Furyk, because Furyk's probably going to make 6 at 16.
Take your time, bud. We got plenty of them.
And if he wins the U.S. Open, it won't be a big upset or surprise.
Before he hits this, we go to Furyk at 16.
His 3rd.
Got about 340 to the hole, so this just a club hybrid trying to get the ball in play. He's done it. Good shot here.
To 18.
Staring into a hillside with thousands of people with a U.S. Open on the line.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect. Just commit to it.
But to get in the clubhouse as the leader at +1. Webb Simpson, who went to Wake Forest on an Arnold Palmer scholarship. And we've all been documenting all week long how Arnold let a U.S. Open slip away on this very golf course in 1966. To 17.
Just earlier, this was Lee Westwood with his 2nd shot up the hill at the par 5. And we saw 2 earlier in the week by Nick Rodney here.
Nice eagle.
Yeah, if that had gone in, that would have put Westwood at +3. The eagle moving to +4. Up at 18.
This is the 4th shot, Gary, for Nicholas Colsaerts, who had designs on making a run for his native country of Belgium, but got off to a horrendous start. 4 straight bogeys for Colsaerts, who began the day just 3 off the lead, and just was never able to recover, even though he played decent golf since that string of bogeys early.
And Webb Simpson was 6 back today after the 5th hole, and he has turned it on.
And Simpson,
2 under par for the day. Really good playing.
Simpson trying to become the 2nd player to win a major with a chest-anchored long putter. Keegan Bradley, the first at the PGA last August. Simpson has been using this long putter since his days at Wake Forest.
And this does have break left to right, doesn't it, Mark?
I think he's got to get it outside the hole, Johnny. It is not an easy putt for a 4-footer.
I mean, you just can't get a more ticklish putt. He's got to commit. He might be able to make it left edge if he really hits it flush.
At the 72nd hole.
That was quite the first shot. They hit it out of that bad line, chunk it out and run it down there for a 3-footer. I'm impressed with that. And he's going to find out in a minute that he probably is the leader unless Furyk gets it up and in.
Only player under par in the final 9 groups. If Simpson wins it, he certainly has earned it. 68s on the weekend. Jim Furyk at 16.
Roger, we always knew, we thought 16 would play a pivotal role in determining this year's U.S. Open champion, and it doesn't look like we were wrong.
No, it always seems to. It's just a brilliant par 5. Jim Furyk now has 112 yards left for his 4th shot.
Well, we know how good he is with this club. He could knock this for a leaner.
Needs to. Just a little right of the hole. That's a good kick. Jeez. That ball looked like it hit on a trampoline and then spun dead back hard.
Looked like it got a good bounce and then a bad break overall. So he's got a lot left for his par. Let's take another look at that bounce. Kicked it forward and left, John, and then they spin hit it.
You could hear it at contact that he did not compress that ball totally. That's why it hit short of the green.
Now McDowell, don't forget about this guy. Just 2 back with 105 yards on his third, Raj.
And needs a couple of birdies, though. 105. Good angle here from the right.
There's the sound you want.
Well into the air, this right of the hole.
That's near one of those.
Wasn't very good.
Yeah, it's a bit too cautious at this point in the championship. 218.
And this was earlier. Ernie Els having to hold this shot to get to that +1 lead in the clubhouse from the rough.
Really a poor tee shot. 156 in. It's almost an impossible little shot. That's what the price you pay. This little 18th hole is flat kicking.
So it's boiled down to Jim Furyk.
It's the 6th toughest hole today, this little hole.
Jim Furyk, Webb Simpson, and Graeme McDowell.
It's hard to believe 72 players in this field right now and only 6 birdies on just a little layup flip.
Well, with 17 waiting and 18, he's got 2 birdieable holes. Unless Jim chips this in, he's going to be 1 back of our leader, Webb Simpson. See what he's got left there. What, Roger, about 30, 35 feet on this chip?
Yeah, that'd be about right, Peter. Maybe just more than that. It's certainly the kind you know, a player thinks about making.
You see that quick look he took at the board. He said earlier, he said he wasn't going to be scoreboard watching today, but he certainly took a peek right there.
And this board shows Simpson as finished at +1, so he knows for certain.
Furyk is pretty good from these positions around the green. Still got a little left now for that bogey. Go back to 18.
Everybody else from a tough downhill lie.
Real downhill. Just got to chunk it on and then let it do its thing. I think he did a good job.
Ernie was in the lead with 12 holes to play a couple of years ago at Pebble Beach when Graeme McDowell prevailed, but he faded down the stretch. Didn't fade down the stretch here, but he's going to come up short in his bid for a 3rd U.S. Open title as we go back to McDowell at 16.
McDowell's putting right toward that leaderboard, Roger, so you know he's taking a look.
Oh, he knows as well. There's no secrets now. They know exactly what's ahead of them and what they need to do.
This is a putt we've been watching all day, and it just breaks more to the left than the players are judging.
Well, I'm nervous. I don't know about you, Roger and Peter, but it's pretty intense stuff right here. These holes have got so many options. You can make birdie, you can make bogey. Like Furyk, got to make it just for a 6.
And whether you're having the opportunity to play in the U.S. Open or to watch it like these thousands of spectators, it's always exciting. So this should break probably about maybe 2, possibly 3 cups from the right to the left. 18.
And else for par.
Just a right edge putt. Hit it.
So 2 bogeys in the last 3 holes for Ernie. Had a chance with those back-to-back par 5s at +2 and hanging in the balance for a 3rd Open title, but 72 final round for Els +4 and back to Furyk.
And now this left for his bogey 6.
This is a sweaty palm putt.
Not a lot of break, though.
This one. No, there's not. But he has to have it, John.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, he could eagle the next hole, but.
So it's a bogey 6 for Jim Furyk on 16, and we have a new leader at the top, Webb Simpson, at 1 over.
This hole is played as the 3rd most difficult par 5 in the last 25 years at a 5.4 average, and the tee was up 101 yards today.
It's just got so much history and so much difficulty if you miss a fairway, and we've seen it grab a lot of players.
Never seen anybody on the green in 2. I thought they might do it today.
I did too. I was waiting for someone to hit it in 2, and nobody did. Not much movement here. Maybe inside left, Raj.
Yes, I wouldn't give up the cup at all.
So McDowell safely in. Stays 2 back of our leader, Webb Simpson, going to 17.
First time since Friday afternoon that Jim Furyk hasn't had at least a share of the lead in this U.S. Open.
Well, if he doesn't win this Open, he'll remember that tee shot on 16 the rest of his life.
So there's the board. Webb Simpson on top with his 2nd straight 68 of the weekend, +1. Will it be good enough? Jim Furyk has the short par 5 17th coming up. So 2 holes left for him. Graeme McDowell, the only other competitor with a chance at +3. Lee Westwood finishing up. We'll have to wait another time for his major title, +4 through 17. Had that ball that got caught up in the tree at the 5th hole and never really contended after that. Even though he did just eagle the 17th. Not Tiger's weekend at all. And Jordan Spieth from Texas is the low amateur at this U.S. Open. Only 6 subpar rounds today. And out to the tee at 17.
And neither of these 2 players have had great success here at the 17th. Both have made just 1 birdie. Par 5, first 3 rounds.
Just 510 yards, easy par 5 if you play it right on Gary, but a lot of pressure.
Graeme McDowell needs to find the fairways. Only hit 4 of 12 so far today. And this from the guy who leads the PGA Tour in driving accuracy, normally hitting around 73% of the fairways.
And needs a 3. You have to be in the fairway really to have a realistic shot at 3.
Good hard swing, but
that's right, isn't it?
It's going down the right, though. That's going to miss right.
He's got to figure his pressure on Gary.
Yeah, I mean, John, the guy obviously drives the ball well on a regular basis, but not today.
And Furyk. Nice birdie here, and he's looking at a chance to birdie 18 and win it outright. Of course, he's got to remember the shot he hit on the last hole. Hopefully, he doesn't do that again.
Hopefully, you forget the shot you hit on the last hole.
He went down the right side for a draw.
Well, that'll hold the ball into the fairway that slopes so much from left to right.
He started it up the right, but it isn't turning. This is going to probably bound right into the rough as well.
Well, there's that large cut of first cut there. It's double the normal amount, and that's what it's found, so it shouldn't be too bad. So we come down to the 71st hole of the 112th playing of the U.S. Open Championship. Jim Furyk looking for a birdie. Graeme McDowell looking for an eagle. And Webb Simpson safely in the house.
Precious to hug that trophy, Johnny, and who's going to get the chance to hug it today at Olympic? Webb Simpson in at +1, the lead.
Yeah, will pressure reign, Gary, or will we see some heroics?
Well, they're on the hole where heroics are possible. That's for sure. We've seen eagles made today. There have been 4 recorded already, and 13 for the week.
It's definitely an eagle hole location. It's about as easy as you get on this green. So a good shot can put you right there underneath the hole for a makeable eagle.
Roger, a chance to look at Furyk's lie.
Yeah,
that first
lie's
cut, not too
okay.
bad.
Yeah, it settled just ever so slightly, but the lie's okay. Certainly won't be a problem getting enough club in the ball to get it there. But it has 222 left up the hill, and it feels like a little bit into the breeze as well. And the temperature's dropped. It's pretty cold now at past 7 o'clock out here at night.
Yeah, they're going to have to take one more club than they think, I believe, Roger.
Oh, yeah, this plays longer than its yardage. I would hazard this is playing 240, maybe
Plus
more.
it's uphill a pretty good bit, too.
Yes, it is. Fellas, and it's hanging right.
That finds the shorter of the 2 bunkers. Wow. That was not good. That leaves a very awkward bunker shot of about 40 yards. All right, McDowell next.
Yeah, he's got 219, and ball sitting down in the rough a little bit here. Got a hybrid club out and just going to try to see if he can get some kind of bullet to chase on up the hill. No, this is started left, and it's not really cutting. Needs a hop.
That is up into the front left green side bunker. Certainly a much easier shot than Furyk. Let's join Bob Costas.
All right, and I'm joined by Webb Simpson, 68 yesterday, 68 today. At present, a 1-shot lead. How nerve-wracking is it to sit here and watch?
It's pretty nerve-wracking. I'm glad my wife's here with me in the booth.
Dowd's right over there.
But you know, it was just a cool day. I had a piece all day. I knew that it was a tough golf course. It wasn't going to yield many birdies, and I had to go out and do as well as I could. And I probably prayed more the last 3 holes than I've ever done in my life, and you know, that really helped me stay calm and ultimately get in at 2 under.
You did it with a run of 3 straight birdies, 4 in a 5-hole stretch. Let's begin with your second shot at 6, and you take us through it.
Yeah, this was a full kind of high-holed 7-iron that landed. I thought it landed in the rough, and just worked out perfectly and rolled down to about 5 feet.
Made that for birdie. After another birdie at 7, we pick it up at 8, and here's the putt for your 3rd consecutive birdie.
My caddy really helped me here because he watched a lot of golf and said that most guys would come up short, so hit a hard 6-iron and made a great putt.
You make the turn. Here's your second shot at 10.
Yeah, this was an accident. We were trying to go about 15 feet left of the hole, and it came out right, and luckily the distance was perfect.
Simple work from there, and there's the birdie. Now, this is your 3rd shot at 18.
Yeah,
you were in trouble prior to that.
Yeah, this was I actually had a good break off the tee to have, you know, a decent lie to get it up there. And it was just it was sitting in a dead hole the size of a sprinkler head, and I was able to get a really good chip down there, about 3 feet, and got my hand shaking a little bit, but I knocked it in.
If, in fact, you wind up winning this U.S. Open at Olympic, every story somewhere is going to include the fact that you were an Arnold Palmer Scholar at Wake Forest, and that one of the most crushing defeats, heartbreaking defeats of his entire career came right here in '66 when he blew a big lead against Billy Casper and ultimately lost in a playoff.
Yeah, you know, Arnold's been so good to me, obviously playing under his scholarship at Wake. But, you know, just the other day, Monday or Tuesday, I read that story and thought about it. And, you know, he's meant so much to me and Wake Forest that, you know, hopefully if I win, I can get a little back for him and it'll make him smile.
No matter the outcome, great going today.
Thank you.
Let's go back out to 17.
And Jim Furyk ready for his third shot here at the par 5. He's got the ball up and down 7 of 9 times, but
hit too far behind it, didn't he?
Yeah, well, it's just such an awkward distance, too.
Yeah, he had to hit that nice thump.
Take another look at the contact. Here being on the upslope is almost a disadvantage, Johnny. It's harder to carry the ball as far as he needed to.
Yeah.
McDowell next.
Certainly the easier of the 2 bunker shots, in my opinion. Has plenty of green to work with, but it'll move away from him to the right.
We've seen this most of the day. Players thinking it works more to the right than it does. Roger, were you a little surprised with the club selection there for Furyk on the second shot? 4-iron didn't seem like enough club, did it?
I didn't think it was enough club either. I didn't. As heavy as this air is.
I would have thought a hybrid club would have been a much better selection.
Yeah, I would agree.
Hard to imagine, but it's actually easier to play from over the green if you go straight through the green than it is from a short right. Oh, Simpson and his wife Dow.
Watch behind you.
And making the trek around Olympic, Gary, 7 months pregnant, due in early August with their second child. And this will be a great Father's Day present for Webb.
Well, he needs a putt like number 12, doesn't he, Gary?
He does, John. This one's been, again, hard to read. It breaks right, but just not quite as much as most people think. Shake of the head. That was just very surprising to see that come up that far short.
Well, every shot's been disappointing on this hole for him so far.
And McDowell needs to make this putt and then birdie the 18th to get to +1.
What about this one, Roger?
Well, it's on a very similar line. It's going to move a little bit to his right, but it is uphill. Got to hit it firm enough. There's no question about that.
Much easier putt from this
distance.
distance.
Yes, much. I mean, this is definitely a makeable putt. We have seen him make a lot of clutch ones, that's for sure. Back in 2010, excuse me.
Well, you need to hit it firmly. That's one thing I know.
He's got it. McDowell stays alive. Clutch putt for Graeme McDowell. He's to +2, 1 shot behind.
That was very impressive.
There we go. Still has a chance. Furyk with his par remains 1 behind as well as they move to the short par 4.
So it has come down to the 72nd hole here, and Johnny, you mentioned it earlier as 18, not a hole that has really yielded many birdies today, just 6 birdies so far. Furyk at +2, McDowell at +2, both need one to tie Webb Simpson in at +1.
Well, first things first, if you're going to make birdie at the 18th hole, you better hit the fairway, #1. But imagine the 6th toughest hole today, this little hole. But there's a front left hole location there we've been seeing that nobody's even got it near the hole. So can one of these guys play a great 18th hole, 72nd hole? We're going to see. And take a look at this hole location. It's just over the, you can't see the bunker that's on the other side of the flagstick there, but it's a deep bunker, and it's hidden from down at the bottom of the swale. You can't see anything but half the flagstick, and I'd say the odds are maybe 70% chance that Webb Simpson's going to win outright. And you know, there's a good chance also of a playoff. One of these guys, good players, can make birdie here and force a playoff tomorrow on Monday. So we'll see what happens. But first thing first, you have to hit the fairway. You're not going to make a birdie unless you hole it out from a long distance or knock it in from a bunker otherwise. So
McDowell with the honor. Only 3 U.S. Open champions have finished birdie to win this title. Ben Hogan, Jack Nicklaus, Tom Watson. A birdie obviously would tie Webb Simpson, but it would put McDowell potentially in that same group of illustrious names.
Yeah, the center of the fairway is right at that right bunker right there, and I don't want to go left.
Peeling down the right side a little bit. May need to hang on.
Tell you what, there's an overhanging tree that'll get his attention, and the ball settled down a little bit. I can't tell for sure, but it surely isn't teed up. And can Furyk gather himself and actually hit a good shot? He's faltering a little starting on 16, isn't he, Dan?
Yep, again, has not made a birdie all day. Needs one here.
He can do it. He's got to hit a good one here.
This ball too going down the right side a little bit. That'll be all right. Got a straight hop. I think it should stay. Well, maybe it'll just creep into the intermediate.
Just ahead of Simpson. McDowell, Simpson. Chasing Furyk. Both need a birdie to tie Webb Simpson. Is he going to be the next U.S. Open champion at Olympic? That hillside was just about full when we arrived at the golf course early this morning. 8,000 spectators along that hillside of Olympic Club awaiting the outcome of the 112th U.S. Open. And McDowell is away just behind Furyk in the first cut, Roger.
106 left to the hole. Bit of a cuppy lie, John. It did settle slightly. It's not the best of lies. Furyk's is much better.
Got that fog looming over there, and it's very uphill, and you got that tree sort of framing that front left hole location.
Quite a scene to look up into, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and all those people in that bunker that you can't see the flag very well, just saying, can you get it over that?
You can do. You don't want to flirt with that front hole location and end up blowing it all, but
well, he could have put more spin on it, but that cuppy lie Roger talked about might have gotten him. The ball hit with no spin at all.
And yank his glove off there.
You can see the competitiveness and the desire.
That guy has dealt with a cauldron of pressure at that Ryder Cup in 2010.
Well, he's got the perfect swing, Roger, to take it outside and drop it in and flip it straight up in the air and stop it if he can do it. He's able to hit it as high as he wants.
And I think he's got a lie he can spin the ball from.
Let's see if he can,
105.
See if he can gather his nerves.
Oh, this is going left.
And it buried. I mean, he just fell apart is what it amounts to. At 42 years old, wanting it so badly. Now it's buried in the bunker, and you got to feel for him. He sure deserves to win because he works so hard in every aspect. But it just, that tee shot at 16.
You think G-Man doesn't pumped?
I'm not sure this is the greatest thing to do here, but he's pumped. But he's going to have to wait a long time for Furyk to hit his shot.
The last champion to birdie the 72nd hole to force a playoff was Tiger Woods at Torrey Pines in 08. It's happened a total of 7 times. Much more unlikely for Jim Furyk as he puts his arm around Fluff as if to say, boy, we just made it about impossible.
That was a total unforced error, if there ever was one, with a wedge to hit that shot.
More U.S. Open heartbreak perhaps for Furyk as you look at Webb Simpson. He needs to dodge these last 2 players, but remember Furyk bogeyed the final hole at Wingfoot in 06 to finish 1 back the next year at Oakmont and Pittsburgh. It's time for the lead with a couple of holes to play. He bogeyed that short par 4 17th there to finish 1 back. Probably that was his biggest disappointment since he's a native of Western Pennsylvania, and at age 42 he was telling everybody yesterday, I know the window of opportunity is closing. I'm 42 years old now, and you just don't know how many opportunities you have left, and he just made this one really tough.
Yeah, that's a tough break there. It was a poor shot, but that bunker buries, as we've seen, right?
Johnny's got one of the great motions for a bunker player.
Not for this lie.
This is going to ask a lot.
He can't even go with the flag, I don't think.
Yeah, well, Johnny, the shot to play is away from the flag and to the left. But his only chance of tying for the U.S. Open is to play at the flag and hit it squarely and get lucky.
Absolutely. He's got to give it a try.
Has to hold it.
And this won't hit the green if it doesn't go in, unless he catches up in that fringe. That's pretty sad.
And another U.S. Open slips away from Jim Furyk, who had the lead for so long since Friday afternoon and into the final couple of holes here. That swing at 16 off the tee, and then the second to this point.
That was almost impossible, and he hit a poor shot.
So 1 man left for Webb Simpson to dodge. And he's Graeme McDowell.
Graeme McDowell studying that green chart and trying to figure out where the slope is. And he'll take his time figuring this one. He's looking at the slope, how much down it is. Furyk's 3 over for the day.
Get on!
That was a terrific shot. That was almost impossible, and he almost pulled it off for a miracle 4.
Well, if Graeme McDowell can channel some of the incredible clutch play he produced in 2010, shot 74 in the final round to put away that first U.S. Open at Pebble, and then the Ryder Cup clinching match when he and Hunter Mahan were the only players on the course. The final match, it came down to that. He made some incredible clutch play. This is his 24-footer heading down the hill.
You can see the break when we come around here. It's just a baby break to the left, and he loves this hole. He's gone birdie, par, birdie. It's a good rolling putt, and I would be really surprised if this doesn't come real close, if it doesn't go in, Roger.
Well, at this point, if you can get it on the right line, you shouldn't have to work to get it there. I'll say that.
Will Webb Simpson win the U.S. Open in just his 2nd appearance, or will Graeme McDowell force an 18-hole playoff tomorrow? You saw that putt go in at the 16th at Celtic Manor in Wales at the Ryder Cup.
Tell you what, his body language is, I'm going to drain this. I'm telling you, he looks really positive, Roger. Rubbing his hands together like, I love this moment. I love these kind of moments.
His dad Kenny is here. He was there at Pebble Beach 2 years ago, and Graeme won it. This to keep his hopes alive for a second U.S. Open title in 3 years. Simpson is the 2012 United States Open champion.
I mean,
Dowd's in shock, and Webb is calm and cool. I understand it's a bit of a delayed feed in the locker room, so now it sinks into reality.
Hey, buddy! You're right, coming in. Great job, buddy. My man.
So proud of you.
Yeah.
68, 68 on the weekend.
Oh, wow.
That's the leaders.
4-shot comeback on this final round Sunday.
You have no idea how good that feels, folks. I mean, he is like, wow, U.S. Open champion.
Never contended in a major. This is just his 5th major championship. Tied for 14th last year. That's the best he's ever done.
It's like amazing. And, you know, it's funny. He was aiming that ball. McDowell was aiming that ball outside left. He had it totally misread before he hit it.
So McDowell in at +2. Jim Furyk for bogey to get in at +3.
Well, that drive he hit at 16, I can't get it out of my head. It just, he was really in good shape with 17 being such a birdieable hole. If he just pars 16, of course, this doesn't mean anything except for he always tries hard.
Simpson, who burst onto the golf scene last year with a couple of victories, who's the United States Open champion. Little baby James at home with his grandparents. Dowd pregnant with her second child. So a happy Father's Day to Webb Simpson, who comes back at Olympic to win the biggest title of his young career. We've got another different major champion. 9th consecutive first-time major champion. 15 straight different major champions.
It's hard to believe that that could happen. Of course, Tiger opened the door, but you know, that's like pure joy. But when you shoot 68-68 on the weekend, you can pass a lot of guys, and he did.
Paul Tesori, who's been so instrumental in shaping this young man's golf game to reach the elite of the game. He was ranked higher than 200 in the world at the end of 2010. It has been quite an ascent for Webb Simpson, who attended Wake Forest on an Arnold Palmer scholarship. Arnie didn't get it done back in '66, but Webb gets it done today. Back with a lot more in a moment. Webb Simpson as the U.S. Open champion. Of course, gets the U.S. Open Championship Cup for a year. The new Jack Nicklaus medal, which he'll be awarded in just a few moments from now. Exemption next 10 U.S. Opens. It's a lot to gain from this championship, not to mention being a U.S. Open champion forever. And some examples of how Webb got it done again. He started the day at +3. He was 4 off the lead. This was his second at the 10th. He had already gotten birdies at 6, 7, and 8 to kind of get onto that leaderboard, and that made it 4 birdies in a 5-hole stretch for Simpson as he got it to +1. In the meantime, Michael Thompson, the first-round leader, was staying steady. This was his third at the par 5 16th.
Beautiful. Actually, the best shot we saw on 16 with a lot of action on the ball, and just a beautiful shot. And
we were keeping a close eye on Thompson coming down the stretch. The birdie miss at 17. Yeah, that was the shot he needed because he ended up only being 1 back of Webb Simpson as he took the lead in the clubhouse for a while at +2. Jim Furyk, this was a clutch par putt at 12.
Yeah, he hits it down there to the right, and there's no shot out of the bunker, throws it way to the left and drains it. Looks like that was the big shot, we thought.
And watch this is what you've been talking about.
Watch this shot. I mean, that shot drops the club, just a quick duck hook into the trees, and I've never seen him hit a shot like that, and that one will haunt him for a long time.
He went on to bogey the hole to fall to +2. And then this was the clutch shot by Simpson, his third at 18.
Yeah, he leaves himself a ticklish 3-footer, but a very nice shot, and he just knocks it in with authority.
And then the shot, the little putt that ends up being the difference in the U.S. Open. Another guy with a long putter, a U.S. Open champion. McDowell had his chances, and he gave it a gamely effort. This was a clutch birdie putt at 17 to keep his hopes alive.
He knew he had to go birdie. He gets the first leg of the birdie.
And then Furyk and McDowell both needed a birdie 18 to get into the playoff with Simpson, and both from the first cut. And as Roger described, Furyk had a much better lie, but he just went left.
Yeah, that's just pressure. He just released too early and buried in the bunker dead.
Yep, couldn't get that to get in the hole. And then Johnny, this was just a read that was way off, right?
He's aiming outside left by 4 inches, thinking it's going to go right. The lake is left, the hill is left, and I don't know what the heck he was reading there.
So another Simpson wins a U.S. Open at Olympic Club back in 1987. Scott Simpson won it. And so we didn't end up with quite the scenario of the first 4 U.S. Opens when 2 players pretty much separated themselves and the unexpected player beat the star. But Webb Simpson seems to be headed for real stardom. He's certainly established himself already as one of the top players in the world. Projected to go to number 5 in the world with this U.S. Open win. His 3rd win in the last 10 months. And he's got the whole package, Johnny. Good-looking guy, always accessible, and he's now got that life-changing championship that he's such a career.
He's a fine person, good family man, and when you shoot 136 on the weekend at Olympic Club, not one person even matched par this week with really no win to speak of. It showed how tough it was, but he really played 2 great rounds on the weekend.
Good evening. My name is Bill Nager. I'm the president of the United States Golf Association. We hope you've enjoyed the experience and excitement of the 2012 U.S. Open. The USGA was founded over 100 years ago with conducting national championships as a central focus of our mission. Today we stage 14 national events with more than 30,000 entrants from around the world compete for the title of national champion. And among them is our new U.S. Open winner, Webb Simpson. As golf's toughest test, the U.S. Open required skilled shot making, mental toughness, and physical endurance. Webb Simpson obviously displayed each of these attributes this week. Webb becomes the 5th player to win the U.S. Open here at the Olympic Club, joining 1955 champion Jack Fleck, 1966 champion Billy Casper, both of whom join me here today on the 18th green. Webb also joins 1987 champion Scott Simpson and 1988 champion Lee Jansen, who could not be with us today. Webb, if you could join me here at the podium. Webb, I have 2 awards to present to you today. The first is the Nicklaus Medal in recognition of your victory and the place that you take in history with Jack Nicklaus. And second, on behalf of the USGA Executive Committee and staff, all of our volunteers and members and our partners, it's my pleasure to present you with the U.S. Open Trophy, the time-honored emblem of our nation's national championship.
Webb, congratulations. How nerve-wracking was it for you to watch Jim Furyk and Graeme McDowell play those last couple of holes?
It was nerve-wracking. I know what kind of players they are. Both have won majors, and I expected both of them to do well coming in. And you know, I thought even though Graeme had a 25-footer, was probably going to hit the hole or have a good chance. But I couldn't be happier right now. And you know, congrats to Graeme and Michael for playing great golf.
You go 68-68 on the weekend, and a burst of 3 straight birdies and 4 in a 5-hole stretch turned it around for you today.
Yeah, that was kind of the difference. I got off to a slow start, but I knew that I knew.
Always something to spice matters up.
Yeah, enjoy the gel cell, pal. But no, I knew that there were some birdie holes on the back, and I just had to, you know, stay patient, and luckily the birdies came.
Your wife, Dowd, is expecting. She was by your side. You're kind of amused. The gendarmes are taking care of this gentleman, and he is on his way to a place other than where you're headed. Your wife, Dowd, who's expecting, was watching along with you. This is a special time for you in your life.
It was. You know, we had a week, just the 2 of us. Our little boy's 16 months old, and it's been our first week away from him, so it was bittersweet, but we couldn't have had a better week. And I needed her here with me because I never felt nerves like I did today, and a lot of times I kind of had to hit my legs because I couldn't really feel them. But it was a pleasure to have her here, and I couldn't imagine it without her.
I mentioned this on the air to you a while back, but those here in the gallery didn't hear it. You are a past winner of the Arnold Palmer Scholarship to Wake Forest, the golf scholarship there. You and Mr. Palmer have a relationship. This is the scene of one of the most bitter defeats of his entire career in 1966 when Billy Casper came from way back and eventually beat him in the playoffs. So there's an irony there, but you were saying earlier you probably expect to hear from Arnold Palmer to congratulate you.
I'd love to. He's meant so much to me, and you know, he allowed me to play at Wake 4 years, and you know, I've got to know him a little better through the Bay Hill tournament. But you know, to win here with what happened to him, I hope he can smile, and I hope he was watching.
Congratulations, Webb.
Thank you so much.
Webb Simpson is your U.S. Open champion, Dan.
Thank you, Bob. So, for the 5th time in 5 Opens at Olympic, a player comes from behind to win. So that storyline stayed intact. And Johnny, with Webb Simpson winning his first major championship, what kind of future does this guy have?
Well, you know, he'd only won 2 tour events, and for him to win the U.S. Open, you know, he goes into the last 13 holes and no bogeys and 4 birdies. That's stuff of great players. So great playing by Webb Simpson, and a lot of fun to watch.
Overpar wins the U.S. Open for only the 3rd time in the last 34 years, as we got that old U.S. Open toughness back.
Olympic was tough.
It was fun doing it, Johnny, in your home turf here at Olympic Club.
Yeah, I really had a great time.
All right, always a pleasure. Happy Father's Day again to you. For more coverage, including the winner's press conference, tune in live from the U.S. Open tonight on Golf Channel, where they will have interviews and reaction from Jim Furyk and Graeme McDowell. Coming up next, except on the West Coast, it's Betty White's Off the Rockers. It's been a great week in San Francisco for our entire NBC sports team, who went up and down these hills all week long at Olympic. I'm Dan Hicks with one final so long from the Olympic Club, where Webb Simpson holds off the rest of the field. He's the 112th United States Open champion.